You were in a bloody feud with Homicide. Is that one of the most brutal feuds you've ever been in, or have others been put above that in your mind?
You know, people would probably tell you like Dusty or something like that, but for me personally, Homicide was like not only was it a feud inside the ring, but most people now pretty much know that like me and him never really got along, and what you saw out there was not only like a competition and guys working together, but there was not a lot of stuff pulled, and we knew that going in. And when you have personal feelings inside that a feud like that, it really becomes like a psychological battle in real life. And it was real intense, and but it's something that I'm super, super proud of. And if you put it down on paper back in '03, and you'd be like, Steve Corino and Homicide, would that be a feud I'd want to see? For me, I would say, I don't know, that looks like oil and water to me. But there was something that was sparked up. Whether it's how we both feel about wrestling, maybe we're too much of the same, and we don't realize it or whatever. But once the bell rang, we knew it was time to kick each other's ass, and there was no remorse, and it was. It was pretty crazy.
Do you still talk to him at all, or do you?
No. Oh, you know what? We were on the same team once for Hermie Sadler's UWF back in '07. I think that's the last time I talked to him.
You mentioned the personal feuds, or the personal feelings in your feud with Homicide. That really boiled over at the Ring of Honor 1-year anniversary show, didn't it? The riot, the crowd actually rioted on you. That's not something you see in today's wrestling.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. From what a lot of people go, well, that one of the guys was Julius Smokes, and only like 5 people were originally in that stupid riot thing, which I was against from the beginning, because I knew that being in Queens and everything like that, you're going to start a worked riot. It's going to turn into a real one, and people don't realize that. That was really dangerous and real crazy, and. Luckily, no one really got hurt. So, but if you go back to the thing, I remember Samoa Joe kicking somebody right dead in the face, and I'm thinking, wow, this is absolutely bonkers.
Bitter friends, stiffer enemies. That name proved ironic, didn't it? Wasn't that where Homicide slapped you in the ear?
Yeah. 6 years later, I still can't hear out of my left ear.
Wow.
And it's one of those things. Could I blame him for being careless or something like that? You know what? It was a 1 in a million shot that he could have, knocked my hearing out the way it did and stuff like that. So I was more proud of that. It was one of those matches that I was exhausted near the end because we were beating the hell out of each other for 15 minutes, and everything was tight and everything was right on. And it's just one of those matches that I'm really, really proud of. And next morning, I woke up, I had 8 stitches in my arm, both my eyes were black, and, I couldn't hear out of the left side of my ear. But, I thought, we created something last night. It was magical, even though it was painful.
Yeah, your whole feud with Homicide was great. 4 years that feud lasted before you finally left Ring of Honor. Looking at it now, were you surprised when Gabe Sapolsky was fired from his booking job with Ring of Honor?
Yeah, but it might be good for him because, he'd done that job nonstop for 6 years, and he did a really, really good job. And he had some of the greatest talent, that mainstream fans don't know. And he had an eye for talent. He really did a good job, and and this time off might be good for him. He recharges battery, gets some new ideas, maybe. Who knows? Maybe they'll have another company come up that's going to do a different style, because I know he used to book FIP different than ROH. And, Gabe's not a one-dimensional guy, and I definitely think he's got something to give in this crazy sport.
Well, he's actually been talking online. He said all of his Ring of Honor ideas have been purged, and his last blog he posted, he really did a good job putting over Chikara. So maybe he's got something working there.
Yeah, maybe. It might be good for him. Chikara is such a different style than ROH, so he might have fun with it. I would definitely, if I was Jeff Jarrett and Dixie Carter, I would take a huge shot with bringing him in
Absolutely.
to TNA and doing, shaking things up and make it less of the norm.
Absolutely.
Steve, a lot of people online, you had a lot of success in ECW, and a lot of people online, they all credit Paul Heyman for the success of the company. What do you think of Paul Heyman nowadays? Do you credit the success of ECW to him?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was the the mad genius behind it. A lot of people crap on Paul, and they're, oh, that guy did this and that guy did that. I always look at it as, if Paul Heyman didn't give a young Steve Corino a chance, who would have? I didn't see like Vince McMahon beating down my door, or WCW beating down my door. Paul Heyman gave me a chance to be on TV, and the cool thing about ECW was that he let you be you. It wouldn't be a scripted promo. It would be an outline. It would be this. It would be that. And you really got to grow and really enjoy what you were doing. Right. So, for me, Paul is the guy that, created this world that I live in right now, because I've been doing this now 15 years. And, from the day I met Paul Heyman, I hadn't had to work a different job.
You were contacted by WWE in 2007 and had a few tryout matches, but there wasn't a contract offered. Did you ever wonder about going back there, maybe as a road agent down the line or something?
You never know. You know what? It's a real hard way to describe it without without sounding like sour grapes. Because I don't have any. I've never wanted to be up there. I've always followed my own, weird path of what I call success. But, it's one of those things, like, their vision of what sports entertainment is and my vision of pro wrestling are so different that, I would probably drive myself crazy up there. Only because, I grew up with a certain way and taught a certain way. And, that's why I wrestle here in Puerto Rico, because that's the way I grew up on. But they make tons of money. So I can't say that I wouldn't, and I can't say that I wouldn't, if they said, Steve, we need you to shave your head and be, a clown with a penis on your face. They flash a number in front of me. I'd say, wow, penis on your face doesn't look too bad. But, for me, I'm happy with the path that I've done. And, being a road agent or being a color commentator, stuff like that, hey, I would take it.
Speaking of Puerto Rico, you are the current WWC Universal Heavyweight Champion.
Yes.
Which makes you, I believe, if I'm correct, and I think Daniel said I was, the only person ever to win the NWA, AWA, ECW, and WWC championships.
Yes, and the other guy that's only other guy that's won the ECW, NWA, and WWC title is here today too, Sabu. And I get to wrestle him tomorrow, so it's cool. The only two guys to hold all three of those belts get to clash for it tomorrow.
That's very cool. Now, Nick would kill me if I didn't ask you at least once. We can cut this if you don't want to talk about it, but let's go back to WWC back when Carlos Colon was the champion and Jose Gonzalez was booking in the Bruiser Brody death. Do you mind talking about that?
Well, I wasn't there, but I do hear my stories. What's ironic and kind of creepy in a way too. They have that Bruiser Brody book that his wife and the dude from St. Louis wrote, right?
Uh-huh.
I thought to myself, wow, wouldn't it be awesome to buy the Bruiser Brody book in Puerto Rico? It's like, wow, that's a sick mind that I have. That situation is, and every once in a while when the drinks are flowing, I start trying to, work my way into, see what really happened. And man, you could ask 365 different people, you're going to get 365 little bit different answers. So it's weird. I think it's going to be one of those things that you'd never really know the truth. It's like JFK.
Well, you won the title from Ray Gonzalez. Is that any relation to Jose Gonzalez, a former booker?
No. Gonzalez is like Smith here.
Okay. You have a son, Colby.
Yes.
Would you be upset at all if he decided one day down the road, hey, I want to be a wrestler, I want to get into this?
No, we have that relationship where it's, I want him to succeed in whatever he wants to do, whether it's, be a fireman or a teacher or a baseball player or, computer analyzer or a wrestler. It doesn't matter to me. I'll give him 100%, 120% of my backing. If he wants to be a wrestler, I'll warn him of the dangers that I've seen.